Let's go.
Hello, 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 and welcome to another one line of code. I am One Lion.
Go.
Hello, Dukasoft. Dukasoft actually got first. First. How are you all doing on this fine Wednesday? I just got back from running upstairs to grab another bottle of water. Water. Of course, you're gonna merge it right at 10:30. A couple of my pull requests just got approved right at 10:30. And I kind of want to get them merged in. So let me take a look at those real quick. Oh, he merged it for me. Well, that'll do. Can you merge the one that actually was fixing a crash? Why are you doing these so backwards? So weird. So weird. Like the pull request that I submitted first is been sitting there for 2 days now, and the one that I just submitted today just got approved. I don't know what's going on. Doesn't matter. They don't need to be done in any specific order, except actually they do. Two of them were supposed to be for this new release that we're having. For we had a whole bunch of reports, bug reports essentially, that were sent to us while I wasn't able to bill the client for the work last week. Essentially, I wasn't working for the client last week. I was only working for Sagetti. And so we had a whole bunch of bug issues that they decided to, or not decided, that they were able to tell us about yesterday. And most of them were assigned to me, which was fun. But that means that I get to fix a lot of stuff and just explore and do fun stuff. Why isn't this updating? Something's got to update. Go here. Like there's some quirks that you don't think about. Like, you know how in menu systems or in tree type things you'll have something that looks like um that looks like here's an item with children. And hello, Captain Commerce. If you have not followed Captain Commerce, you should see a heart right above in chat. So I guess it's way over there for most of you. In chat, click that heart, give him a follow. He's an amazing guy to hang out with. He does .NET development as well. Lots of not commerce type things if you're interested in e-commerce, or actually it's think of I don't want to do that analogy, it's a bad analogy. Anyway, just check him out, you'll like him. He works on side projects as well. Happy New Year's to you, Captain Commerce. But you know how you might have menu items where there are carrots, so that when you click on that on the right angle bracket, it would change to like a V, or something to indicate that it's now expanded, and then you have children items. Well, when you move to a right to left language, this will move. I don't know why I wasn't clicking over here, But since you're using an icon, it's not going to flip the icon for you automatically. So you kind of have to detect whether you're in a right to left language and then make sure that that gets flipped as well. Things that you just don't really think about until they happen, unless you've encountered them before. So that's one thing that I'm going through. Another major one is the list that I'm working with in particular has checkbox. So think of this as a checkbox. And when it actually switches to right to left, because I have this expander icon positioned absolute relative to its parent container, so this is a list item with position relative. And then this is an SVG, and now I'm using angle brackets for it. So this is an SVG for, yeah. I don't know what to put there. It's an SVG. And then this is a checkbox, and then this is another span. Flipping the X in the checkbox sounds difficult. That's not what I was getting at, Dukasoft. This is positioned absolute so that the normal margin and padding affect this, and of course right to left because I'm using flex. I said span because I'm using flex. It actually swaps the position of this, moves it over to the far right, and then puts the text to the left of it. But this thing is still position absolute, so it's kind of getting overlapped on the left side of the checkbox. And so now I need to figure out when I'm doing my position absolute. I have a class that gets put on this LI if it gets turned to RTL. That says RTL. Excuse me. Otherwise, like the way that I'm handling the rest of the RTL detection is by putting it on the HTML tag. I think it's on the HTML tag. So I have a class on the body that gets added, and then I have it's either a meta tag or a attribute that gets put on the HTML element, but I can't remember. It's one of those though. But anyway, it tells the document to print right to left. And so everything flips cleanly and nicely except for when you're using stuff like position absolute. So maybe I really should just have this. Yeah, dang it. The whole reason I was using position absolute is because not all of these items have a icon. So there might be some that are not expandable, but I still want the items themselves to be lined up. Oh my goodness, why aren't you cooperating with me? So here's another item without children. And so I want these to line up even if there is no icon. And that's kind of hard to do without doing something like position absolute. Even if I did something like use a margin of negative, then I would still have this thing over like this. So I'll have to think about that. I'll be thinking about that while we're working on stuff today. But anyway, what are we doing today? This is the stream where we have fun one line at a time. What? How long did you practice that for? We're currently working on a financial management tracker application. We are using .NET 6 that needs to be updated to .NET 7 Blazor, both WebAssembly and server-only flavors, as well as Maui, Entity Framework Core, SQL Server, as well as our own custom CSS and components. Follow along with our progress in the GitHub repo at https://github.com/1lion/financial management. Thank you, Dukasoft. That's exactly the script that I needed to follow. Anyway, the project is just a way for anyone, real developers, use Excel 97 as their database. That's true, Captain Commerce, but I'm not a real developer, am I? Proud of it. Uh, this project came about because I used to work at a place where I could stream what I did full time, 8 hours or 6 hours a day, I guess. But I got to stream my normal job. So you guys got to write code like actual business code with me, or at least watch me fail at it or succeed sometimes. And um, since then, I got a new job. I'm not able to stream the code that I work for that job. So I decided let's keep doing Blazor. Let's keep doing the stuff that I absolutely love, even though my new job is Blazor still. I point this way because that's where my screen is that has my current work product on it that I want to keep working on right now because it's so much fun. It is so fun. But anyway, so I still wanted a Blazor project. I also wanted to improve my skills in design, in architecture, in testing. I'm kind of ignoring a couple of them because now I just feel like I want my new job is this way. Um, because I just want to be done with yeah, it depends on if you're in right to left or left to right language. Duke soft. Wait. What? Anyway, still wanted a project that showed off all of the full stack development process as if it was a an actual product that would be deployed eventually. But it's starting to turn into just a pet project like any other amazing developer on the interwebs. Not that I'm an amazing developer, just that I didn't want to put down any of the other developers because they are amazing. Um, but it's really just one of those side projects. That's something that I really wanted for myself, which is to turn my Access database, where I do all of my financial tracking, into a Blazor application. And so that's what we're doing. And so we've gotten quite a bit along. So I'll show you where we're at with that. And thank you so much for the follow, Xuan Cheng. Xuan Cheng? Xuan Cheng. Anyway, let me know if I pronounce that right, wrong, or feel free to just let me pronounce it however. But I appreciate the follow. So, like Dukasoft posted above, you can follow along with this project. It is open source on the GitHub page for it, on the GitHub repo. We are currently in Dell, currently in the transaction history refresh branch, where we are trying to get the list of transactions to update and populate correctly. We might also be redesigning what it looks like because I'm not really liking it so far. But we may go back and do some for real UI design redesign now that we've gotten as far as we have into it. I was also doing a lot of stuff with a local copy of a project called Stable Diffusion, and it has been really cool. So we might be getting some new icons and Twitch emojis soon. Bob Ross also said that he would be creating some, but this thing came up with some really cool pictures. I don't know why I'm looking for this. I could just type it. Time to watch. And I'm trying to use the images that the AI generates as inspiration for the actual emojis to make. But some of them turned out so good. Okay, so this is the running app. Like, this is a landing page, but it's like a fake. It's a facade, I guess, that I just blocked in some text up here, some subtitle text, a login form that's not really a login form. But this login form will let you know when the app has loaded, because what I did is I took the rendered HTML from when the app starts and used that as the placeholder while the WebAssembly app loads. So it looks like the app has already loaded, and then suddenly we have this login thing that shows up when the server is ready, when WebAssembly has finished loading. We won't see that if we run this as Blazor server because it's going to be populated right away. Anyway, so then we have this happy little tree down here, which will take us to the core, the meat of the application, which is enter your transaction details, where you can enter payments, deposits, and transfers. When you enter them, you will see them show up down here. But for some reason, we aren't getting the payee information to actually populate the way it's supposed to. Which is really weird. Yeah, anyway, we'll figure it out. So that's what we're working on. We're trying to figure out how do we get the actual payee to show up correctly. And here is the payee. Does the payee table have anything? No, it's just a lookup item. Yeah, we don't need to worry about categories at the moment. Oh, it could be this to view model that I'm not populating everything that I need. So let's go down to payment. We're getting the account name, we're getting the payee name, and we're getting the payee ID and line items. To do populate categories. And we'll get the categories eventually. So I'm not exactly sure why we're not able to see everything for that. So let's go figure it out. We're going to debug this fantastic mess. Oh, while I'm doing this, I hope you are all, I want to extend some positive wishes, some productive energy to all of you. Hope you all are having a great week so far, enjoying yourselves. What's going on with the page? Nothing. It is running normally, according to the console. But it's saying no page can be found. Nani? Do I have something else running on this port? Wait, console. Hmm. Now that's odd. I wasn't expecting it to not run in debug. Digasoft says, I'm enjoying my day off from WordPress. Very much thank you. Well, very much you're welcome. I'm glad you're able to take a break from the thing that I almost made an analogy to earlier. What's going on? Why aren't you finding that? What port is Stable Diffusion running on? Because I still have that running. That is running on crack. What? You there. 7860. So no, not an issue. No clue. I don't know what to do with myself. What are all of these errors suddenly? What's going on? I'm gonna stop and rebuild. That's right. I'm gonna use Captain Commerce's. One of the many, many reasons to head over to Captain Commerce. These amazing emojis. Oh man. Yes. And it's also time to pull out the duck. That right. He gave away how many? Was it just one of them? Or was it all three of those ninja ducks? It was like a week ago. Just one. Still very cool. Okay, so that doesn't make sense. Is that usually the case when you run an app in fine migrations? Haha. I was like, when you run an app in debug in Visual Studio, doesn't it usually use the same port as the actual app itself? Well, it might help if you pick the right project. Oh my gosh. There we go. All right, hit my breakpoint for all of my transactions. Wait, what? Yes, it's already in use because I didn't actually stop the. Somebody help this kid. I think he's forgotten how to life. Okay, okay, okay. You need to go back to simple. So if you couldn't tell, I am also lurking on Simple Game Dev's channel, who is another fantastic streamer. He is a Unity developer working on an app that working on a game that is inspired by Half-Life and Portal. You will see stream elements do some announcements, but since I haven't seen one yet, we will type out artificial. Artificial is what I said we're going to type out. Head on over to Steam to check it out. He has a demo up, I think. I can never remember whether it's still up or not. He had a demo, and it's worth playing. It's worth at minimum checking out. So try it out. You'll enjoy it. And launched. That's better. Okay. Did we hit our breakpoint? We did. And it is a payment that we got passed in, which is right here. Right here, ladies and gentlemen. And this is definitely a payment. Why does it look like I'm missing fields? I mean, it doesn't really matter, but oh, there it is. Transaction type is payment. So that's how we know. Transaction type is payment. And we are populating all of the data that we need for a payment to include all of the line items, which is subtotal, sales tax, whatever we put in for it. So if we take a look at that, we've populated my student loan, 2 line items, a subtotal, and a sales tax. We have a total of 163 currencies, 123 plus 40. No transaction date. I need to populate the transaction date. That's kind of important. Unless that happens down here. Okay. Just kidding. That happens down here. We have our account ID. We have no memo, but if we had one, it would get populated right here. We have the transaction date, posted date, transaction type. And this time we know the transaction type is payment because we created a new payment entry view model, which by default, or not by default, has a read-only transaction type, which is payment. Yay. Okay, so all of that's working the way that we're expecting it to, which means that we should be sending back. Oh, yeah, this is going to happen for every record. There are only 2 records, though, so that's fine. We can just F10 through this. And that is going to be populated in the data property. And there they are. Account ID 1, payment to Vindies with only 1 line item, a subtotal in the amount of $2 and 2 currencies and 23 partial currencies. What? And that gets returned. Would have been nice to have my F12 open just to make sure that it gave me back all of the right data. Are you still waiting on something? Are you gonna populate? Oh, I know what happened. So the reason it didn't populate there was because I took too long debugging the thing, and so it eventually timed out. And then it's like, I'm not waiting for a HTTP request that takes that long. You must be crazy. And I was like, no, we want it to though. There we go. Okay, so that should have given us back a response down here for payments. 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 Here's our response. Pretty print that. We have 1, 2 transactions. Both are of type payment. My student loan, 123.40 for a total of 163. And then 223. Yeah, so I'm not exactly sure why Vindies is not showing up here. Transaction type is 1. Is transaction type 1 payment? It is. Okay. So everything that is used to print out this particular transaction is set correctly. So why isn't it actually displaying the right data? Here's our if payment, print out payment and payee name, which both of our payees have a payee name of Vindies. So why isn't that populating? Breakpoint here, please. Back over here, remove this breakpoint because we know this works. And now we are here with our first transaction that has a null payee name. But everything else is populated. Oh. Oh. Okay. So here's what I think is happening. We're going from a view model to an entity, and I think we said this out loud last time too. We're going from a view model to an entity model, and I'm distinguishing those with a view model is essentially a data transfer object, or the POCO that is used to display data on in a UI. And it just holds the data for what needs to be displayed. So a view model. And then the entity model is the one that is the POCO that describes a table in Entity Framework, or any object in Entity Framework. In this case, it is a table record in a table. So let's figure out where we're populating each of the things. So here's all of our services. Here's all of our transactions. And this is why, for some reason, I am converting all of these to transactions. Why? Why am I doing that? I don't want to. I just want them to be the view models that they are. Can we do that? Are you okay if we do that? Let's store them as iTransaction data entry view model. Rid of these. Yeah, get rid of two entity models. We have, well, that also raises an issue that my two entity model is not capturing all of, that's view model, is not capturing all of the fields that it needs to capture. Where's payee name, for example? Okay, Captain. Thank you so much for the lurk. Appreciate having your spirit here, having your energy. So awesome having you around. Target account. Excuse me, what other yeah, I thought so. Target account. So I have a feeling that that's going to fix whatever the issue was, but I have no idea why in this grid I'm casting it to an entity when we're just going to be using the view model the whole time. That might be why. Um, iTransaction data entry view model. No, it has a posted date. Why are you angry at this? iTransaction data entry view model does not contain a definition for posting date. And if I look here, iTransaction data entry view model posted date. We should be able to use pattern matching for this. Yes. Oh, I love .NET. I don't know about you guys, but I absolutely love being able to just cast in a switch statement like this. That's really cool. Just like that. And then we can do the same thing down here. We'll do these. You'll be a deposit, which should go first, and you'd be a transfer. I don't know where the amount is for my deposits. Total? Total. They all have totals. Does that mean, yeah, my view model has total. Is total nullable? It is not nullable. All right. I think we just solved it. You've solved it. Let's give it a look. Oh, we actually need to run it again now. Which window? Which window? This one. Let's start with that window. .NET. Well, I don't know why I did watch run. Let's just do .NET watch. Things go haywire when I start using run. It needs to rebuild pretty much every single time I try to do anything. Are there errors? Are you telling me there's an error? Right, I didn't actually update the front end. We don't need to worry about to view model. And because we are, you know what, let's just check on these. Just because I don't feel like doing a null forgiveness on this one. Like, I know it's not going to be null there because we're checking on the underlying IEnumerable, underlying list, I guess. Yeah, it's running. And we're up. And now we have problems. Our payee names. Yatta. Okay, so I still have the question about this. So let's do a quick local commit. Fix the transaction item display data type. Well, we're only working in transaction history, so I don't need to put too many details. We know that that commit. Oh, local commit. We know that that commit is relative. Is in regards to those files, the transaction history files. Absolutely. Oh my. Okay. So I'm really happy with that. Let's get rid of Hello Spaghetti Developer. Welcome back. I hope you have been well, had a great turn of the new year. What have you been up to? Hopefully having fun. If not, hopefully being productive. If not, hopefully doing whatever it is that makes you happy. Thank you. Mostly not coding. Is that enjoyable to you? Was it relaxing, or was that kind of like, I really want to be coding right now? No judgments either way. So yes, it was relaxing. That's fantastic. I'm glad you were able to take a break and get some relaxation. We don't need that. Okay, we have our transactions being printed out. So now let's see if we can get it to refresh as soon as we submit a new transaction. So for example, I'm going to try a deposit this time. On 1/4/2023, we are depositing money into my savings account from my regular paycheck in the amount of 2 monetary units. And this is with 20 hours of overtime. Spaghetti says, I like coding, but doing it 8 hours a day for months and months gets old. Yeah, I can definitely uh, understand that. For me, I haven't gotten tired of it at all. I took 2 mandatory vacation days, which were last week Monday and this week Monday. And other than that, I've been. What I did last week, since I wasn't able to build a client, was I worked on learning some more Unity, picking up some more skills with Unity, and figuring out how to do augmented reality development with it. And I'm just going to keep going. Last night, I made the mistake of trying to figure out, like, I just wanted to see what it would be like to do Unreal development, and it's very different than Unity, and they didn't show a single line of code for it. It was all using the graph system, and I have no idea what I was watching. But it seems pretty intuitive. I just it's just very different from anything that I've ever done. So I'm going to stick with Unity for a while. An unexpected error occurred. Yeah. Spaghetti says the UI in Unity seems harder to learn than the code. I mean, it's like if you understand, and I think you should be familiar with some game development concepts like shader graphs. If you understand those, then you can pick it up pretty fast because it's just like creating a shader graph or a material graph. But also, that's how you tell your AI what to do, your um, NPCs and stuff. And you can do Boolean operators, and you can do conditionals, and you can do a whole bunch of stuff without needing to write a single line of code, which is appealing for people that don't know code. But for people that do, it's like, show me how to accomplish the same things by writing code, because that's what I do. Sounds shady. I mean, I like it. I really do like the approach that a lot of places are taking. I mean, I don't know if it's elitism or what, but I absolutely love to write code and love that I can understand code. No, it's actually off black. It's actually kind of greenish. We're gonna redesign the colors and stuff. If you want to figure out what exact color it is. Oh, the thing that I forgot is I don't have Figma Pro or anything, so I can't share this. I can't make this public, I don't think. Right? Is that what it is? Share. Can view. Yeah. Okay. So if you wanted to, you can check out the Figma-ish design for this. Um, eventually, I will want to open this up so that other people can help me do actual design on it. But I do want to get better at this aspect of it. So right now it is kind of a greenish color. One-y. Wait, it's not one-y. It is. Is there an eyedropper tool? Eyedropper. It is 03060A. Close. Unless you're actually right. And I just grabbed a spot that was a little bit lighter. Yeah, I'm definitely wanting to replace these colors, which I think is going to be easy. I think if you have everything expanded. Oh, you know what? I have it right here. That's probably where you got it from, isn't it? Wait, don't I have it up here? What do I even have this thing for if I'm not following the colors from it? You took it from the stream. Got it. Got it. Did you use developer tools? Dev tools? My battery is running low. I'll save you Mobile Studio. Power Toys. Very cool. Am I using the new bootstrap variable thing? I don't know what that is. I would be interested to know. I'm using Sass, and I'm not using any specific CSS library. This is all custom CSS. Oh, just regular CSS variables? Yes. So the way that I set up my CSS is, like I said, I use Sass, and I start off with this color variables. Usually start off with this color variables file where I put all of my theme colors as Sass variables. And then in root, this is where I define all of my CSS variables from those Sass variables. So for example, I would normally have a, let's call this dark teal. Then my background color would actually be, oh my goodness, I can't type anything right now. Oh dear. Okay, it would be something like, what is the syntax? $, curly brace, hash, other way around. Other way around. Hash, $. Why am I getting so many errors suddenly? It's all from the Maui project. Because the Maui project is not a .NET 7 project? Is that what the issue is? That is correct. Can we just ignore that project, please? We are ignoring it. Get out of my error log. Anyway, so yes, that's where I put all of my primary definitions for my CSS variables. Then when I'm ready to do theming, I would normally have a, gosh, how do I normally do it? Do I usually have a full Sass file for it? And then depending on the class in the body, then I will just overwrite the variables that need to be overwritten. Oh, I guess I put it I put it in line here. Why did I put it in line? I don't understand why I put that in line. Right. Import of other variables. Okay, anyway, this is how I would normally do it. And then I have a theme manager component so that you can change theme and that theme manager will put the correct class on body. And I have to use JavaScript interrupt for that because there's no other way for me to target the body of my app. Shared component library. UI. Is it really not up here? Okay, so it's in the project itself then. There's no other way for me to target the body or style the body from within the app itself. Like I can override, I guess, body background, but body background is just in my global styles, or would be in my global styles. And you can see here that I'm using CSS variables to control all of those. And so when I change theme, these variables are going to get overwritten, and that's how it's going to know to change the color and all of that funness stuff. But yeah, again, this is this is just kind of blocking out tone, I guess. I want this to be darkest, this to be, well, second darkest, this is darkest. Dark, not as dark, bright, but contrasty. And yeah. And then we can just go regular old, I don't know what to call this, government style. Anyway, feel free to ask any other questions if you have any, and I'll ask you questions if I have questions, but you are under no obligation to answer. Unless you feel like it. I need more pink. Okay, fine. Dark teal is actually going to be, let's do 2, 3, 3. Oh, RGB 233 255 255. Is that pink? Might be too bright. Am I thinking of this wrong? Ooh, that's a nice hot pink. Oh, wait, Dukasoft gave me one. 243 105 180. There you go. just for Yukasoft. Dukasoft. Yes. Wow. That is a nice pink, though. I can smell the bubblegum. We're keeping that as our bubblegum pink. Let's turn this into hex. I'm not going to be able to do it off the top of my head. RGB2 hex. Which I could be using Power Toys for this. In a parallel universe, this is the color used for government stuff. Just do it. Just convert it for me. Yeah. All right, we're keeping this though. Bubble gum. And I usually put my hex. Well, I guess it's not. I usually put my hex in lowercase, but I'm not, so let's not. All right. that's a color. Mm. You couldn't tell what colors I like. Actually, it's more black and red, but whatever. I like teal a lot. And we also already came up with a whole bunch of themes before when we were playing. Oh man, this was a million years ago when we were playing with getting a WPF app title bar to respond to theme changes. Do you remember that? We came up with like 5 color themes. Gwaine, Boo, Dukasoft. Dukasoft was my favorite one. Works better for text. Got it. Changing all text color. Primary text color to. Keep doing that. Hash. So I don't really know why this syntax is like this. He remembers the poop color. I don't know why we have to do hash curly brace $sign when the actual variable is just that. I'm sure there's a reason, but I don't know enough about SAS. It's almost actually default border color, link color. Do I have a highlight color? It's got to be one of these. What are we using for the shadow? What are we using for the shadow on you? Manual is what we're using. Let's create a new variable. I think we're just going to call it border glow. We use hash bubblegum. Right. And that would be here. No, none of those, which means it has to be in the isolated CSS for the data entry page. Yes? Yes. Oh, crap. I forgot that I have it as two, one that's lighter than the other. And if I wanted to, I could use Sass functions like brighten, brightness. But I think that affects the entire thing and not just the one piece that I'm trying to manipulate. Still works. Yeah, if we wanted to, we could make an entire cyberpunk theme using this, a really bright blue, blacks. Yeah, I think we'll do that eventually when we are redesigning the overall look and feel. Oh my goodness. Now I have too many things open suddenly. So faint border glow is just going to be RGBA 255, 255, 255.1. And that way we can keep it all the same. Cool. All right. So I will remind myself by doing RGBA 255, 255, 255.3 that cyberpunk theme will use this color. And that'll make it feel like you're managing your finances in the future. We got a follow for that. Thank you so much for the follow, Carterovchi. Carterovchi. Katarovchi. Katie. Kadir. Anyway, hi. Welcome to One Lion of Code. I'm One Lion. We've been working on this financial management project for far too long, but it's still been fun, I hope. I'm having fun. We just got the transactions history table to display correctly. We also just got an error while trying to do a deposit submission, which is odd because we did have all of our transactions tested. That's the one thing that I wrote tests for. And those tests were working last we checked on it. So let's double check our account services deposit. Add deposit. Not implemented. I'm sorry, what? It is to implement it. Account services line 110. No, you're supposed to take me to account service tests line 110. And it's telling me add deposit. Wait, you're not telling me what is not implemented. Anyway, it's got to be at transaction. But it is. Okay, well, it's time to debug the test. I mean, debug the method that is being tested. This is why we have tests. And if I had Visual Studio Enterprise, I could have live tests, which means that anytime I made a code change, you'd see a little glyph over here that tells me whether or not the test is passing. So this thing would always show up in the margin. Excuse me, I pushed debug, which means you were supposed to attach a debugger and hit breakpoints and stuff. Why not? Let's go again. Thank you. New cancellation token source. All right, is it prepare service under test? Huh, it's in prepare service under test. Detest the bug. Wait, when did this happen? Okay, that's really confusing. I don't remember what I'm doing. Go back here. That's lookup list management. I don't care about lookup list management. That's what happened. I'm in the wrong set of tests. This is what I wanted. Deposit data entry. My bad. Because it was commented out. And I do think that it's still, even if this wasn't commented out, if this was ever there, it would still hit this line and throw an exception. Yay. Add deposit is supposed to work. Everything else is supposed to fail. What the hell? Okay, so according to my test though, pushing submit with this record is supposed to pass because that's add deposit only. Everything else is going to fail. Let's see what our network tab has to say about that. An error was detected while saving the deposit. Cool. So it makes it to the actual endpoint and it tries to submit transaction type 0, which is a deposit. Yeah, return is supposed to end the function, but it still carries on. It's weird. Like, let me see if I can prove that. In our data entry page, nope, not in the data entry page, deposit data entry, since we need it anyway, we'll go to your code behind for your button. Oh, I'm so used to working on a little bit bigger screen now. I usually have all of my Razor files up on top in the top half of the screen, and then my code behind files right below it. And then I also put my SAS files pinned in the bottom half. Anyway, you get used to things. You improve it. Yes. We have a... Okay. Actually, no, let's just add a new button. Private string, give me back stuff. Return, here's some stuff. Throw, new, not implemented exception. All right, so the theory, the assumption, the postulation is we should hit this line. It should give us back a string to wherever we're calling it from. Give me back stuff. And we should not see this new implementation. New not implemented exception. What even are words? So that should have prompted us to restart the app. You're probably going to beat me to it, Spaghetti. It's oik. It's oik, hey? Oops. 0104 2023. Deposit into account is not loading. Give me my account list. Well, that's a bug. 2030. This is what I hate about text input fields. All right. Positing to monies. You did that and got no exception for throw new exception WTF. Cool. Good. So that's promising. And same for me. So I ran the method for submit, which the very first thing that it should do is gimme back stuff. Oh, no, this is the error that we're trying to debug currently. We'll get to that in a second. So yeah, we didn't get any actual errors for not implemented exception. Sehr gut. So I have been proved incorrect in that statement. And I'm glad we did that because I don't want to give incorrect information. Red Kevin Games is also streaming. I like his game. Okay, so we're going to figure out what this error is, and it looks like it's a database error, and it's probably because we are missing, no, it's because we're trying to specify the account. So we're having the exact same issue where we have this accounts object that is being created when we go to entity model from our view model, a view model. And so I just need to clear out the account itself during the save. So back to transaction entry service, add transaction. When we go to entity model, we don't want to create a new account. We just use the account ID. And is that something that I recently changed to? Right. I did it in a way where, because this is an add, I would do new transaction.account equals default, like this. That should fix it. And then we should also get a new deposit. So this one makes sense. Account, we should not be trying to populate a new account entity. Instead, we should be referencing it by the ID. And we should create a new deposit record, which is the associated navigation property for getting to a new deposit without a new deposit ID. And that should give us a transaction ID. All right, so I think we just fixed it, just like that. Let's give it a shot. 01, 23, 2022. I got paid last year, apparently. Oh my gosh. I need to figure out what's going on with that. It's obviously not re-rendering when I get the new values. Obviously. A memo. Yes. Okay, so that looks like it added successfully. Otherwise, we would have seen an error down here. It gave us back a response of, we got a new record, number 1006. Two records were affected, the primary transaction record and the associated deposit record. So let's go take a look at those. Transaction ID 1006 in the deposits table. I mean, in the transactions table. $1,006. How did you jump to 1006 though? Get that? That's okay though. For account ID 2, which should be my savings account, my primary savings account, and an associated deposit record for transaction ID 1006, deposit reason of 3, which should be regular paycheck. And it is. In the amount of 2 monetary units. The other thing I forgot to check is, do we have a memo? We do. We do have a memo. So when we try to print this out, so two things I noticed. Number one, we did not update the transactions history table after a successful submission. And two, I'm really good at off by one errors. Anyway, if we do refresh this, however, and let it requery the transaction history, we will see the new my primary savings. For whatever reason, the payee came back with the payee ID of 3, which is a deposit reason, not a payee, which is why I want to rename this column and redesign how this thing actually displays the information. But let's fix that real quick so that our transaction history will show us deposit reason value text. Oh, deposit reason value text as opposed to deposit reason. Simple's here. Hello, Simple. I was just talking about you and your amazing development skills. If you guys do not know Simple Game Dev, there should be a heart above your chat window way up there. Give him a follow. He is doing some amazing work with a game called Artificial that is just fantastic looking. It's inspired by Half-Life and Portal. It's kind of a puzzle platformer, first person view, and you're investigating this thing that happened. And yeah, he's showing the entire dev process that he's been doing with it. So give him some support on his Steam page. You'll see it. How long has it been since you've shouted him out? Stream Elements. A while. It might be coming up, but I'll still do it anyway. Artificial. Check out. Just check this thing out. Look at these colors. Look at these amazing. I love this ambiance, this style. The lasers. I played the demo and it was super fun. Good times. Good times. Keep going. You can do it. And you kind of get that isolated feeling, but then you know that there's people outside that are talking to you, that are helping you through this. I'm sorry. It's just, it looks really good. And I keep telling you that. A lot of people tell you that. You're just humble. I just, I just do the stuff in Unity. It's very simple shapes. That's all it is. I just use a whole bunch of simple shapes in Unity and you put them in the right places, you give them the right lighting, you have these scenarios and yeah, mechanics that are just awesome. This is so cool. 10 out of 10 impersonation. I didn't even try your accent because I would fail miserably. Although, to you, you don't have an accent. I didn't try. You know what I mean. You know what I mean. Be sure to wishlist Artificial on Steam. Do you like Portal? Do you like Half-Life? Try out Financial Management Tracker application. Wait, no. You know what, though? I might actually use some of the colors from your screenshots, if that's okay with you, of course, um, to design that a theme based around artificial. That would be awesome. We could be using the color themes from all of the people that we love, like Simple Game Dev, Irish John Games, even Bardaki, and turn those into application themes. That would be fun. And then actually have, like, one of the droids or a turret pop up, start shooting at your account balances. anytime anytime you enter a payment to something else, like you spend money on something and you push submit, you see a little turret laser pop up and shoot at your account balance. That would be awesome. Exploding wallet. And then for Rise of Piracy, you would have like a pirate ship come up and start shooting cannons at it, or little small pirates come and just take bags of gold from it. That'd be so much fun. Okay, I'm dreaming. I think it's possible, and I think it'd be really fun to do. So we should keep it in mind. Anyway, that's Simple Game Dev, guys. Very cool person. Very laid back, too. And he's got jokes. I'd be okay with ads like that. That's how you inject the ads. Instead of having these little windows that pop up, you just have a little portal that opens and characters from the game that you're advertising do something with your app. Oh, that would be really cool. I think we just came up with another type of ad system that might actually do dopamine hits and get people to buy stuff. That'd be terrible. Anyway, I'm still doing it for Simple though. For Simple and Irish John. Bit gamey. We'll have his dog come out, take a bite out of your account balance. But I'm gonna need some stuff for the transfers between accounts and deposits. Like you added money, here's a nice dopamine hit so that you can feel good about adding money, saving money, whatever. I'm trying to update this. That's what I'm trying to do. Why don't you have a deposit reason display text? Yeah, I need some way to get my deposit reason text in here. So that's how it's going to be. How's it gonna be? Don't do it. Don't do it. Here is where we're creating a new one. I don't care about that. I'm looking for something from the server. Transaction entry service. Shared. Extensions. It's got to be in here. No, it doesn't. Lies. Anyway, we have it open over here. The thing that we're sending back when we get all of our transactions is the thing that matters. Aha. All right, so here we need to then include a lookup deposit reason so that when we to view model it, we can set the deposit reason. What did I call it? Display text. Deposit reason dot name. Okay, and that should give me back the actual text to display in my grid. Instead of the value text, we'll be putting out the end. Just putting out. Don't put out. Ooh, I'm willing to sell out for our community members, just so you know. If you guys do want any kind of advertising space, promo, whatever, you know that you can use my stream for that. Especially like when you come out with your next iteration, if it's like an alpha version, if it's an early release, if it's a preview, whatever, feel free to spam it. It's not like I have a million viewers. And there we go. Regular paycheck with a memo in the amount of 2 financial units. Because we don't deal in actual monetary units anymore. Hi, I'm Dukasoft. Buy me a coffee. So I'm going to, since you said it, I'm going to share one of the many pictures that I will be using as inspiration that Stable Diffusion provided for me as soon as I can find it. And this. And I'm gonna pick the one that I thought was the coolest. I mean, there's so many good ones. Stable Diffusion is amazing. AI is amazing. And the people that come up with the things to make it do. So in honor of Dukasoft, yeah. Let's do this one. Man, is this the one that I want to share? There's just so many good ones. Let's do this one. So I asked it to design or not design, but I gave it the prompt of a animated Twitch emoji, or not really animated, illustrated Twitch emoji of a lion wearing glasses drinking coffee. And it gave me this, among others. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is perfect. It's so good. So I hope to have a coffee emoji if I can spend time photoshopping this and coming up with my own version of it, using this as inspiration. But there are just, oh, I really want to show this one though, but I don't. I'm not going to. I'm going to save it. But they're just so good. I can't stop saying that. They're really good. There's another one that I really, really, really absolutely love, and I don't really want to change anything about it. I just want to use it directly. Oh, whatever. Good times. I haven't said that for a while. Then again, I haven't streamed for a while. Okay, so we are displaying this information correctly now. Let's do a transfer. Oh, yeah. In doing transfer, we're going to test it with transfer next, but we're going to try to get this table to update as soon as we submit a new transaction. I believe I have a transaction state or a UI state class. What else is in here? No, take me to the UI state class. Um, oh, geez. Did I put it on the service then? No, I wouldn't have put it on the service. Okay, so what I normally do is you can see from my UI state class that I tend to have both the I notify property changing and changed interfaces as well. And I have a base notify property changed, which implements that by saying, here's a few methods that you can call from within the class that inherits from base notify, or I guess in this case implements base notify, that you get for free that will raise that property changed event so that we can listen for it wherever we're using it. So I usually do that with my state classes, but the thing that I'm not seeing is a state class that I would have used for keeping track of my transactions list. So right now the transactions list is only kept within this transaction history grid. Is that true? It is true. So what I want to do is move this out and into a separate state class. I'm still conflicted on what the right approach for this is, because it's not really a state class. It's more of just a, here's some properties that are available throughout the app if you ask for this particular class. So I don't know. I don't know what to do. But we're gonna have an I transaction, and I really don't want to call it state, but I'm going to because I don't know what else to call it. And just like IUI state, it is going to extend I notify property changed, I notify property changing, or it is also going to need to implement, I guess, if you're inheriting from another interface. So where exactly are my states defined? Really odd. Excuse me. Where is UI state? Hush, stomach. I know. UI state is in a project called state. No, it's not. It's in a folder called state. It's in the Blazor UI project, which makes sense. That does make sense. So here we go. Transaction state, which is going to implement base state, base notify property changes, and or it's going to inherit. Gosh, inherit implement thing, inherit implement, then iTransactions state. And so far, the two things that we know we're going to have in our iTransaction state are these two. So I am putting them, oh, no, just the one. Just the one. Just kidding. Oh, no. Why are we in the controller? We should be here. Okay. Get rid of that. I don't know. Maybe I do want to keep the state of how you have it filtered and sorted. We'll figure that out as we go along. Okay, so this is going to be a private field. And we're going to have a public version of that as a property. So that whenever we get it, we get our private field. And whenever we set it, we set our private field to the passed in value, which will raise a notify property change. However, there are things that we can do to this transactions list that will not cause this raise property changed to happen. And so there's a few ways that we can make it raise events. Gosh. And I want to do it in a clever way, but I don't. I want to keep it stupid simple. I mean, super simple. So like what I was thinking initially that is too elegant of a solution, that means that it's going to be too complex, was to, instead of having a list of transaction data entry view model, I would have another class or another, I guess, interface that would extend list of or collection of transaction data entry view model. And then when I would override the .add event. And whenever you .add to this collection, it will also raise a property notify property changed event. But instead, what I think I'm going to do is just to have an event, public action function of task, of on transactions changed. Sure, I like that. And it's just public event. What are you doing? Public event, function of task, on transactions changed. And I will want to raise this event. So I would like public methods, something that you can call that says public void raise notify transactions change. That's exactly what I wanted to do. And I've tried this before and I think it fails, but I think I can do it as a nullable. But I can't remember. We're going to try it. I'm going to question it every time. If there's anyone out there that's watching these historical videos in some order where I just did this exact same thought process and either failed or passed, I apologize ahead of time or after the fact, depending on how time is flowing for you. But anyway, I'm just going to raise this on transactions changed event after I refresh the list. And I'm going to manually trigger that from within here. And the way I'm going to do that is first I am going to inject, which I guess alphabetically it would be here, inject iTransactions state, oops, which by the way, I'm not going to be able to get anything for until I add it to my state management extension for services. So I will do that pretty much right away so I don't forget. That will be here, service extension, state management, iTransaction state, the concrete transaction state from this library, please. Okay, so now that that is prepared for dependency injection, we'll have access to it. And I already forgot what the name of this property used to be. Underscore transactions. Let's do it like this. Just so I don't have to muck around with renaming things. There is two, it's right here. iTransaction, oh, I didn't actually put it in the interface definition. No coffee, no code, or as I like to call it, my emotional support beverage. Yes, please. Hello, T. Williams. How have you been? It's been a million years, but I hope you are well. Or since you have spoken, I should say. I mean, since you've been gone. And actually, here's the other thing that I'm going to do to make this even more helpful. I'm going to have in here a public, yeah, we'll make it an async task. Holiday's over, so I'm back to work. You've been on holiday for a really long time. What's it been, like a year and a half, 2 years? I'm kidding. Refresh transactions, transaction history. And of course, at the end of this thing, we will notify transactions changed. But this is where we're going to move the logic from this refresh transactions. Region private methods. Go figure. Were you about to just paste for me? Because I'm just going to paste. If that's okay with you, Copilot. Just wondering. I'll be nice to my AI. It's been so kind to me. Cool. All right. So the thing that I don't like about this approach is that now my transaction state is going to have a dependency on those two services. And I kind of wanted my state to just be dumb this time around. So I've been doing this a lot where my state is kind of an intermediary to calling my services. Man, kind of feeling like it's going to be beneficial if I do it this way. Dang it. Detour. Give me these, please. Okay. Give me some private read-only fields. Did you make it a property still? No, you put it down here with the backing fields. Okay, that's fine. I'm okay with this. I'm okay with this. Oops. All right. So this should be it for the transfer for the state so that I can refresh. Yeah, this is the other thing that sucks is I have a whole bunch of stuff that's going to be driving my UI trapped inside of this state. But then again, this state class is for the UI specifically. I'll probably end up doing something like accumulating all of the errors and then calling a method. If there were errors, then notify transactions changed in case any of them did update successfully. And then also, like I said, if there were errors, raise some kind of notification that errors occurred. And here is the list of errors. So that would probably look something like transaction dead entry view model. No, transaction dead entry view model by itself. What are you, why can't, what are you doing? Yeah, so it'll be something like this. And then I will pass in, oops, other way around, the thing that I want to pass in, and then the thing that I want to output would be a task. So that you can make async functions off of these and not have async void. We'll track this. Var had error is false. Had error is true. if had error. Oh, and this would probably be a list of errored. Yeah, we're going to call it errored. Am I going to do it? Enumerable empty? No, we'll just do new response model. These are all response models of iTransaction data entry. Oh, that's not good. They're response models of lists of the specific type. Yeah, we'll get back to that. We'll get back to that somehow. I thought that I was just going to knock it out right now. I'm not. So this is actually going to be a list of iTransaction. Yuck. Because I'm not going to be able to cast it directly to this without doing a of type for each of them. That is to say, he's going to try it anyway. Transaction responses equals new list of all of those. Transaction responses to add. Yeah, I'd need some way to be able to transform this response into a new response. Well, I guess I can just do it like this. New response model from the concrete class. And I would essentially need to override everything. So data would be response dot data of type iTransaction data entry view model to list one too many errors. Error messages would need to be and error. Isn't there another type of errors? Exceptions. Oh boy. And then everything else, I believe, is either read only. Oh, validation failures. Dang. Everything else is either read only or a method. Oh, record count. Dang it. You are not nullable. Actually, none of you are. Oh. If is null, else. There we go. Then we could just add some generic one if the response that we got back ended up being null, which none of them should be, ever. But if they were, data would be null, error messages would be new list from. Sure, that's beautiful. And then we'll do this for all of them. Do, do. Ah, Excuse me, I'm trying to click on a thing. Ba, 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 ba. Ah. Transactions, transfer. Nice try. Okay, so if had error, which we can change out for if transaction responses dot any, which this should probably be clarified that these are transaction errored responses. Oh, wait. Wait, what? No, that was right. You're doing it right. Then we should also notify errors. Notify on transactions, refresh, error, invoke. Yeah, I don't anticipate this happening anywhere else except for right here, so I'm not exposing it to a public method. Through a public method. So there we go. Okay, well, that went further than I thought it was going to. In these last 3 minutes, let's clean up this transaction history grid to now use transaction state directly. Is that not what I called you? Public async refresh transaction history. Transaction stay. Oh gosh, I did it again. You need to put this in the interface first and then implement it. What are you thinking? The other thing that we get is the notify transactions changed. Oh, is this thing not going to see my events? How does it work with I notify property change? Because you have 2 events. Good, good. They're just listed as event. Okay. So these 2 events go in the interface. I'll put them first. Cool. You are still implementing the interface correctly. And now in our transaction history grid, we have a refresh transactions history, and we can also subscribe to, not property changed, on transactions changed. I'm going to rename to handle transaction or on transaction history changed. To be more explicit, which is going to just be a private task handle transaction history changed with no arguments. We just return invoke async because this thing could be invoked from a thread that isn't the main UI thread. And so invoke async will put the thread context back to the UI thread to do state has changed. And so we no longer need this. We no longer need this. And when we do a successful add, way down here, that's a lot of methods in this thing. When we do a successful add, hello submit. I didn't delete submit, did I? Oh, because submit is not an inside of the grid. My bag. Submit would be inside of each of our transaction data entry pages, such as in this one, which should inherit from a base. Does it? It does not. So I have to put it in here individually for all of them, but we will in our next stream, which will be a community day stream, update this so that they can all inherit from the same base class. And the only thing that's going to change is the type of model that they handle. But they will all have a handle lookup list state change, populate lookup list. These will be abstract methods that will need to be implemented here, here, and here. And then at the end of this, we need a transactions state. And on successful submit, we're going to tell transaction state to refresh transaction history. And I think I have been making sure to put async on my things that are asynchronous. I forgot. So we renamed that just now. So let's try one of these, regardless of whether it is successful or fails. This is going to be the last thing that we do for today. And then we will hop on over elsewhere. And I will continue my regular workday. Are you good? Did you finish? No, there is an error somewhere. Excuse me. And transaction is, oh. Wait, why am I resetting my list of transactions to the sorted list? That doesn't make sense. I think that was a decision that we made at some point. Decide whether to apply the current sort to the underlying transactions history list from state. Okay, for now we're not. And I think that was in an effort to be able to sort repeatedly. Yeah. Dang it. Dang it. Right now you are both. Okay, so we're going with that. I'm keeping it. Did you build this time? It built this time. We'll test, refresh, make sure that we have some things to choose from. 0104 in the amount of 16,000 monetary units. That's a lot. We submit. Come on, refresh. You know what? Oh, wait, there was an error. Dang. And I bet you this is the same type of thing where we're trying to specify a field or a navigation property. And it's like, you can't put in an ID here. So we'll fix that tomorrow. But for now, let's pick one that we know works, which we just fixed this one. And this is actually going to be a repayment, but whatever. Whatever. Go. And I don't know if you saw that, but this updated immediately and added the record without me needing to refresh the page. So we have everything working pretty much the way that we want functionality wise, except for, an error with transfers. But the app's functionality is for the most part there. So we're going to continue with this in our next stream. I am way off camera. Why didn't you guys tell me I was like way off camera? My monitor twisted on me. I haven't even been paying attention to that. So we're going to go to this screen. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for hanging out with me. I'm going to set up a raid while I say this closing information. Again, if you guys enjoy this project, feel free to check it out on GitHub. I will be posting this video to the YouTubes within or somewhere at minimum 24 hours after I end the stream. And yeah, feel free to hang out with us on Discord as well, especially if you are new to coding or if you have been a veteran to coding but just haven't found anyone to talk with about software development and you want a good community or you have questions or you want to answer questions. You're all welcome to our Discord. And yeah, that's going to be it for me for today. So I hope you guys... YouTube didn't work this time? That's really weird. No idea what happened, but thank you for trying again, Dukasoft. Once again, thank you all for being here. We're going to head on over to Red Cabin Games. I'm really enjoying watching the game that he's building up, so I'll see you over there if you hang out with me, and I'll be lurking on his channel. All right, ciao for now. Bye, War.